from the Wing Global Travel Network, here today to give you an update on some of the things that are happening around the world as part of the global network, but in addition to that to provide you an update on some of the activities and support services that Vantage is putting on for our members here in the UK. So let's start with international update, global update. And last week, myself and our US partner Tangerine Travel, Angie Lepley from Tangerine, had a fireside chat about all things US. And she was very keen to sort of highlight that the 3rd of November is a key date in when we may see some sort of change in US confidence. That is, of course, the election. And then there's not going to be an immediate, obviously, opening of borders, but the feeling is that once the country knows who their new leader is going to be, that then the business of getting round and sorting out some of the issues that have been caused by the pandemic related to travel can be resolved. We do obviously see that there is some domestic travel there in the US at the moment, but it's mainly the borders that are opening that everyone is keen to understand when that can possibly happen, not only transatlantic but also the border with Canada, with South America as well, and also from an Asia point of view as well. So key date there, so we will keep you updated on what's happening there. But I think one of the key points I wanted to make about the US, and just to highlight, is that ARC, which is the equivalent of BSP in the US, had reported that in September they saw $1.2 billion worth of air ticket sales through travel agencies for the month of September, a significant milestone because that was the first month since March that the $1 billion mark had been surpassed in ticket sales. So quite an achievement there, quite a milestone. But just to put it into perspective, that is quite a bit down, obviously, than what they would expect for September the previous year. But nonetheless, for that, it's a huge milestone. I think the other thing to report off the back of that, an interesting fact, is that the average ticket price has dropped as well. So in September 2019, the average American was paying around about $500 for their ticket, depending on their route. That has dropped to around about $340 per ticket as an average. So that's probably attributed to the fact that airlines have had a lack of capacity. What I mean by that is a lack of capacity in as much as that there's aircraft aren't going full. Therefore, pricing has been brought down, availability is there, and there's also probably been some tactical movement as well on how the fares sort of stack up compared to previous years. Supply and demand, obviously, is what I'm trying to get to. I think the other thing as well, which was significant and probably plays into these figures, is the fact that at the end of August, an announcement was made by all the US domestic carriers to waive change fees, and that was due to obviously a requirement to try and stimulate some bookings, forward bookings, and some of those figures are probably influenced by that move by the airlines, because that was the month after that announcement was made that they would be waived indefinitely on domestic travel. So it's a good step forward. We are hoping, obviously, that at some point, the borders will open with the US and we can get those transatlantic routes operating, because they are so important to our members, both internationally, and also in the UK here. So we'll watch this space and hopefully there'll be some movement soon. Sticking with the theme of obviously opening borders, obviously the government announced in the UK that the task force was set up to try and open borders to look at sort of how testing can be implemented at airports. I think that's a great move. Obviously, that there's not a lot of detail behind that at the moment, but I think the UK government could learn a lot from what's been happening in Asia Pacific, and what we've seen over there is the introduction of a number of travel bubbles, or they're called green lanes over in Asia, and I think this is born out of a necessity for a number of countries to commence travel with some key trading partners in the region. They've also looked at how infection levels have been brought under control, and therefore those countries that they want to start these green lane agreements with are around lower infection levels. So it will be some time before, I think, UK nationals, EU nationals, and perhaps US nationals will be part of those lists of people that are able to travel there without restriction. But it's certainly progress, and as I said, it's something that the UK government can probably look towards to implement over here. Typically, Singapore has been one of the sort of trailblazers in opening their borders to some of these green lanes. They now have agreements with a number of countries. Just to name a few, we've got Australia, China, Brunei, Malaysia, Japan, Indonesia is coming next week, New Zealand, Korea, and Vietnam as well are now part of the Singapore Green Lane. So you can see as a sort of hub Asia Pac arrangement, there are quite a lot of activities going on, and this came after 2 weeks ago. Australia and New Zealand announced an agreement that will enable New Zealanders to travel to New South Wales and also to the Northern Territories, whilst they are still working on an arrangement to enable Australians to go the other way. Again, it's significant progress that there is an appetite to try and open those borders. Back here in the UK, we are very excited to launch and promote a couple of initiatives. First and foremost, I provide a twice monthly update, a live update, and the next one is next week. I'm pleased to be joined by Jude Fernando from Satguru. He is one of the general managers of the East Africa and Middle East region. Here we are providing an update on all things Satguru. They are a large partner with 62 locations around the world, so it's a significant operation. So we're not just going to be getting an update on perhaps Africa and also the Middle East. He will provide his global perspective on what's happening and has happened during this pandemic to Satguru and their business. So watch this space for details on being able to register for that, but that's next Monday at 1 p.m. Also next week, we are pleased to announce that we are launching a webinar that will be conducted by Maiden Voyage, and their CEO, Carolyn Pearson, will be providing an update on their new toolkit. This is to obviously enable more of a sort of structured duty of care discussion with your clients. And so next week, 27th of October, 2 sessions have been booked, one at 10 a.m. and one at 4 p.m. the same day, and we look forward to having you join us for that to learn a little more about what Maiden Voyage are launching in their toolkit and how that can benefit you as the member and also your clients. So thank you for your time today. If you need any further information or support, the WIN team is available, as is the Advantage Central team to support you. Please make contact with us on any of the bits and pieces that I've spoken to. But we look forward to seeing you on the Global Live update next week with Satguru. And plus make a note in your diary for the Maiden Voyage webinar and also the Traxo one. So thanks very much. Stay safe and stay well. Thank you.